Now, here we go. Here's Laurent is here right on cue. Actually, I just wanted to mention this. Laurent's here right on cue. So Laurent ran a Lindsey, what are you giggling about?
It's just like Laurent came down like so perfectly.
Yes. Well, anyway, I can't grab Laurent. Laurent has floated away, but here's a Kenzo. So people are able to get into this 3D world, into our interview, by typing bang bang mini. But one thing they can also do is type bang bang run and then pass in a number to the spell sharing server that Justin and Eric have written, and then it will pluck a spell out of the database that their code is sort of maintaining, and then it will run it in this game. Yeah, I think it's super, super cool. So I wanted to talk about that spell sharing server and about some of Justin and Eric's experiences, essentially learning to code and then building something that's now in production. That's a pretty cool moment in the evolution of any coder. And to be very honest, a lot of coders don't get there, right? A lot of people start learning how to code and then they never end up releasing a piece of software to real people. But there are real people literally flying around me right now who are using, like they are executing code that is executing some of the code that you wrote. So I think it's very cool. So Justin and Eric, thank you for joining us here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so here it is. This is the spell sharing server with an introduction paragraph we have not yet written. But yeah, so first question for Justin. Justin, can you tell the audience what are some of the technologies behind the spell sharing server?
Okay, so I guess on the front end, it's heavily focused on React. We're also using Vercel to host the live client. On the back end, we're using Node.js, Express, and I think there's quite a few other smaller elements, but the Node.js and Express are the big ones.
Right.
And then we're using currently Heroku to host the server and the database.
Excellent, excellent. And then Eric, how can you tell us a little bit about how you two have structured your workflow? Because I mean, in a sense, this is like one of the biggest challenges of developers is how do you work together?
Yeah, so Justin does mostly all the back end stuff. I do the front end stuff. So what I'm working on is, the kind of the functionality you see on the site, and then Justin does his magic in the back end that makes my stuff actually work and communicate with the servers. So I can make an icon where you can view a spell, but it won't work until Justin makes that endpoint for me to work with.
Awesome.
As far as working together, we have every day we meet up around 10 o'clock, go for an hour, sometimes longer if we're, really in a groove and really getting stuff. And we just kind of, hey, I did this. All right, let's put it together. Let's, sometimes we brainstorm and then just start working on a new idea or a new function that we might want to implement, or maybe an old idea that we can bring to light because of something else we implemented. Now that other feature is working, and we just kind of go from there. And then of course we have meetings later on in the day with you and Lindsey and the dev tickets now on GitHub, and so
cool. And then so Lindsey, you're actually you're in the app right now, right?
Yeah.
So tell us what you're doing. What's the experience as a user right now?
Yeah, no, this is great. I have a whole list of spells under my spells. I've started copying, like things that I would normally copy and paste, I've started saving in here. And now we have the run function so that you can actually just run it from the world, which is really, really awesome.
Is this something we could demo? Do you have a spell that might be demoable?
Yeah, no. What do we have?
Maybe
I think it's this one. Is this the one? Yeah, changing colors.
Yeah, cool. So why don't you rerun your mini, and it should spawn near me, and I'll try to grab you and pull you into frame, and then you could run that command.
Show the viewers.
Okay, can you see your mini?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, go down a little bit more. Oh, that worked.
All right, run it.
Run it.
Yeah, cool. And so now it's green, now it's blue. Now it's red or orange.
Orange.
No, now it's red.
Yep.
Yeah. So and then that was a piece of code that you wrote into the spell sharing server.
Yep, it's right here. It's spell number 22. And so what I typed into chat was bang bang run 22.
Yeah.
It runs this. You do have to make sure your spell is public. There's this little eye icon up in the top. And as long as it's public, I think it works.
This question's for Justin. So when Lindsey types in code into that text box, can you tell us essentially what happens to it? Like, what's the story of that code? How does it end up in the database, and then how does it end up in the world?
Okay, so when the code gets typed into that box, it gets sent over to the server to process, and the server will send it into the database and attach it to the correct spell. As far as getting into the world, I'm not entirely sure since I haven't really worked on that bit yet.
Right, that was actually a trick question because you didn't write that. I wrote it, but I found it very easy to write. It's actually just a few lines of code, which goes to one of the endpoints that you wrote and grabs the kind of the text basically that's stored in the database, and then it evaluates it on the computer that's sitting in real life behind me or in front of Lindsey, and then that causes things to happen in the world. Yeah. So anyway, it's very cool, and I think it's only been live for 2 days. I mean, we've had it live kind of soft launched for maybe a week, but I think the first successful run of a spell in world was yesterday, and so it's the second day of that.
Kind of seeing Lindsey demonstrate it right now of her, adding a chip to the spell or implementing it in the game.
Yeah.
It's just really cool to see like how far just this little stuff can like go.
Definitely. I mean, I agree. I think it's awesome. Yeah. And so y'all should definitely feel, you should feel proud of yourselves. And people can be, oh no, Lindsey, the world may have crashed.
No. I'll start it up again. We'll cut it out of the highlight.
All right, we are still live. It's okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, it's going off screen a little bit. So let me fix that. Technical difficulties.
There we go.
All right.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
All right, so we got
Captain,
we
have
got the
lost
fast
computer control.
snake.
What?
We got
12 seconds to
Laurent.
critical.
And we have Star Trek.
I'm attempting that, sir, but
There's not enough time.
Computer comes back online.
Computer is coming back online, sir. Barkley!
I think we're back. So do you want to go
Barkley!
back to interview
What's going
mode?
on?
Yes, after this one shot of Barkley inside of the neural
Yes.
interface.
Okay, fine.
It's me.
Because, I mean, isn't Barkley inside of the neural interface sort of a metaphor for exactly how I am right now? Eric and Justin, if you would do us the honor of joining us in this world that you're helping to create just by typing bang bang mini inside of the Twitch chat. Oh, Trither is here. Trither is here. Excellent. Welcome. Welcome, Trither. We're interviewing Trither. And Astrum91. This is Justin. Excellent. These are you, right? That's pretty cool, I think. And if you want, you could change your color with, what is it? Bang bang
Bang bang color.
color green or something like that.
Green or red or orange.
You can pick your favorite color out of the 4 that we have. Oh yeah, Trither is now
Yeah.
orange. Beautiful. Yeah, cool. So Trither, I'm curious. Can you give us the story of how you're learning to code? How has it been so far?
Well, I mean, my journey started like a couple years ago. I took just a basic intro to coding or something where they just kind of we worked on flow charts and code structure and just kind of like the basic like how it works. And then I did another semester of C++, which I feel got me a little more in tune to what coding is about as far as structure and actual language. So getting here, I've what have I been working with? JavaScript and CSS and HTML and React, and I feel just for me, it's a mix between going through some online courses and tutorials and then doing the pair programming and researching stuff on my own and and matching and adding it to, taking code from like Material UI, for instance,
Right.
and then
Pattern matching it.
applying that to what we need to use it for, and just getting my toes in the water and starting to get deeper and deeper. I feel like I'm maybe starting to tread water a little bit as far with how much I've been doing over the past couple months. So it's been really fun. It's been really rewarding and challenging and engaging, and I just love every part of it.
Justin, I'm curious. I don't know. Do you have any tips? How have you learned all of these things? How do you keep them straight in your mind?
That's a difficult question. I guess just pick something to start working on and learn the things that you need to do that project. And then when you're done with that project, find a new one and repeat. This time last year, I had 0 coding experience. I was just doing like construction work, but I quit my job to do a coding boot camp, to do a whole career pivot.
Heck yeah.
And, so the boot camp, I can't really say if it was super helpful or not. Like, I feel like the entire camp was built around people that have some coding experience, not like complete beginners. So I got a very shallow exposure to a lot of things, and I didn't really get any confidence with any of them. So it wasn't until after I left that I did like 2 months of just straight code wars that I actually felt somewhat confident in my basic JavaScript.
So let me sum it up real quick so far. So basically, you were doing construction work, right? So you were a construction worker. You took a boot camp, which taught you some things, and then after boot camp, you did 2 months of straight JavaScript problem solving, basically. Is that right so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So JavaScript. So by the way, this is Astrom91. This is Justin, who we're interviewing. Justin used to be a construction worker and now is an orb inside of a video game. I think that's amazing. All right, so 2 months of straight JavaScript code wars, and then what?
Then I guess that gave me the basic confidence in my core coding skills that I could apply to other areas, and I started working on just different projects. I started using was it Phaser to make some basic games arcade style.
Yeah, just for fun, essentially?
For fun and possibly resume material.
Got it, yeah.
Then I also helped with some of the CodeSpell assets, like creating the actual 3D models for the game to use.
Oh yeah, even some of these, right? Like this bread here, right? You helped bring this bread into the CodeSpells world, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of different, a bunch of parts of the cozy cabin and a few other areas. Yeah.
Oh, I lost Justin's orb. Well, Justin will now be represented by this kettle that was part of that asset pack that he mentioned. Don't know where Justin's orb is. Maybe it'll float back. Yeah, awesome. I think it's a great story. I love... so everyone's got a different coding life story, right? How did that happen? Truther got bopped away, or maybe bopped himself away. This kettle is still Justin, for the record. And since Truther's gone, Truther is now this piece of bread. But you also have your own Twitch stream, and it is actually more popular than this one. so thank you for taking the time.
You guys have significantly more viewers than I do.
Really? Oh,
I have a bunch of followers, but maybe you get 3 viewers.
I see. Okay. But I guess what I was going to say is it's actually your Twitch bot code that we're using. So anytime someone runs a command, CodeSpells, did you just knock over? Oh my goodness, what is happening? There are balls everywhere. When someone writes a command on Twitch, it actually gets caught by a bot that's running on our computer. And this is an example of something that you found on the internet and kind of workshopped into something that worked. So that was kind of a side project I think you worked on just for your channel, essentially a personal coding project.
Yeah, and actually, just seeing not only what you guys have been able to do with that, but other streamers as well. I have more ideas of what I want to how I can integrate it, because I just hadn't even thought about any kind of VR and streaming before.
Right. And then you've done some Unreal stuff too, right?
I have done Unreal. I have like CSS background, so like 3D modeling and rendering and stuff like that, or 2D. I've done both of that because I've made stuff for 3D printing as well.
I
So
see.
just kind of all over the spectrum of computer generated stuff.
Right.
Whether it goes to the real world or stays in the computer. I guess I've been kind of tinkering with all of it for a while now.
Everyone should check out Trither's stream. Trither does a lot of music-related stuff, right? I would say that's like maybe the main theme of your stream. You are a musician, right?
I am. And so when I started streaming, it wasn't like I want to make a stream and develop it. It was I'm already drumming 2-3 days a week for hour or two at a time. I bought a $35 camera and just pointed it at me.
Right.
So I just started kind of hanging out. But like seeing other stuff that can be streamed, like I kind of want to start branching out, and I'm working on developing a 3D world in Unreal right now to start implementing some games and stuff that I want to try on my stream. So
there are a lot of people pushing boundaries on exactly that topic you mentioned, which is what can be streamed. I think even as the human race, we haven't fully figured that out. But with 3D worlds, you can sort of illustrate and render anything, right? It's like back to the Star Trek clip.
Exactly. And you said what you said about Twitch becoming popular means that people who are more creative and more talented as far as programming and stuff like that are getting introduced to it. And I think that's why we're seeing these more and more advanced streams over the past few months, is because of how much it's exploded and how much potential's there. Just the interaction is amazing. I have so much fun with my chat and with other people's chats.
Have either of you seen Code Miko?
Yeah,
I have a major crush. My virtual character has a crush on her virtual character, but I don't think she could ever love a cat like me. Awesome. All right, well let's start to wrap it up. But Justin, curious what do you think is next?
I'm not sure about that. I've only barely gotten started, so I'm willing to try just about anything at this point.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well, thank you both for joining us. This was really this was great. Let me try to get around the to the side of the table so that I could grab this camera so I can do one quick fly through for everybody. All right, so we have so here's the table at which we just did this interview. Here are the orbs of people who are spawning in as we speak. There's some orbs of people who have floated away. That's the bed where I sleep in and dream about meeting Code Miko one day. That is camera 2 up there. Gives us another view on this log cabin. That's another orb of someone. I can't read their name right now. And this is the food that is perpetually cooking. And that's the bathtub back there where I also sit and dream about Code Miko. All right.
There's a lot of dreaming about Code Miko.
Yeah, it's pretty much my hobby right now. Anyway, yes, thank you both for joining us. And I guess, Lindsey, that concludes our interview.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
for
y'all
having us.
so much.